All right, brothers. So first of all, I wanted to say shalom to all you brothers out there. I hope you all are having a very good Sabbath as always. And brothers, you have a lot of times, especially with brothers in this truth, you have a lot of brothers now coming out talking about how Esau is the so-called Arab man and things of that nature. And I wanted to talk about it, and I also wanted to tackle the narrative, and we're going to find in this video who Esau really is. All right, brothers. So this is Genesis, the 25th chapter and the 21st verse, and I'm going to read it on down. It says, "And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren," and barren means to not be able to have children. "And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. She went to speak with the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb." And also you have a lot of brothers, especially a lot of these so-called white people who want to come out and talk about how Esau and Jacob's birth was about good and evil. No. All right, the birth of Esau and Jacob was the birth of two major nations on the earth. All right, I'm going to read on. "Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger." I'm gonna slide over. This is 24. "And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him," or 80 years old. All right, and this is Genesis, the 27th chapter. "And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept." And for any of you brothers that know, later on down in Genesis, the 25th chapter, you know that Esau went on to sell his birthright and Jacob went on to get the blessing. So basically Esau is asking his father about how he can get a blessing, because basically Esau had nothing. So we're going to go to the 39th verse. "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven from above, so they shall lie at the best parts of the earth. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck." All right, now, brothers, when the so-called white man wants something, what does he do? All right, and what is the modern day sword? The modern day sword are guns. The modern day sword are military. They're nukes. They're obviously armies. All right, when the so-called white man wants land, what does he do? He bombs certain nations. He stages certain fake terrorist attacks, i.e. cough, cough 9/11, so he can go into certain nations and get whatever he wants. All right, he's very gifted with his military. All right, and this is the book of Obadiah. And also for any of you brothers that were wondering, and we're going to read it on down, but for any of you brothers that were wondering, you know that Esau's name, I believe in Genesis, it's either the 35th chapter and the 36th, or the 35th or 36th chapter, you know that Esau's name is changed to Edom. All right, the term Edom means red. All right, and down south, a lot of the so-called white people down there in the country, what do they call them? They call them rednecks. All right, actually, they call themselves rednecks. All right, and we're going to read down the vision of Obadiah. "Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle." All right, so eventually nations are going to start to fight the so-called white man. The second verse, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." Third verse, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, though thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high." And brothers, and you brothers probably already know this, but the term Caucasian comes from the Caucasus Mountains, which I believe are in Eastern Europe. And brothers, for any of you brothers that were wondering, the term Caucasian and a lot of the color code terms that we get nowadays comes from a German physician by the name of, I believe his name was Johann Blumenbach, spelled Johannn I believe Blummbech. All right, he was a German physician, and he was white trash. He was a so-called white supremacist, and he's on record as stating that he believed that where the Caucasus Mountains is where so-called white people were native of. That's where they started. Now, obviously, for a lot of you brothers who read the scriptures, you know that their initial settlement was in Mount Seir. And of course, we know their habitation is high because that's why they build a lot of these skyscrapers, specifically here in Babylon. But we're going to read on. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. All right, brothers, and we're going to look at some symbolism of eagles right now. All right, this is a US dollar bill. This is a $20 bill. And I believe this is Andrew Jackson. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but we're going to zoom in. And as you can see, it says United States Federal Reserve System, and you see it as the eagle. And I'm going to have to probably do a video on the Federal Reserve because quiet as kept, the Federal Reserve actually run America, but that's something I'll have to get to in due time. This is an American coin. As you can see, it has the eagle on it. And this is also an image I was able to find while I was researching. And I believe this is an image outside of a courthouse in Knoxville, or maybe it's Nashville. It's one of those places down in Tennessee. As you can see, this is the United States Postal Service. And you can see it has the eagle. All right, if you look very closely, there's an eagle. All right, brother, so we're about to back to Obadiah. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars. All right, brothers, and we all know who was able to get into space first. All right, and I know certain brothers will say, well, that's the Russians. Brothers, ain't no damn difference. All right, the Russians are actually pure Edomites because they're actually near the Caucasus Mountains. But and also, brothers. I don't mean to get off topic too much, but I'm going to show you brothers something real quick. All right, brothers. So we're currently on the video of the so-called moon landing, which is something I'll probably have to do an in-depth breakdown on one day. But let's listen to what the narrator is going to state when these men finally land.
We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, 20.
All right, brothers. He said the eagle has landed because even the high level so-called Caucasians, quote unquote white people, quote unquote white, they know that that's their bird. All right. It's just a lot of you, not to be disrespectful, a lot of you low level Negroes that don't know that because quiet as kept, a lot of you brothers, you want to save the so-called white man. All right. Because you can't see yourself existing without them. And I'll have to do a video on that. The black man's self-esteem, because a lot of brothers, they have very little respect and very little belief in themselves. And again, that's a video I'm going to have to get to soon. All right, brothers. So we're going to read a few more verses in Obadiah, and I think I'm probably going to wrap the video up after that. But this is verse 5. If thieves come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they have had enough? So the so-called white man, he just steals, and he's never full. If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not have leave some grapes? How are the things of Edom searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right, this is verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? All right, brothers. So that's why you have a lot of so-called white people now who are coming out and saying, well, you guys are Israelites. Brothers, I'm sorry, I don't take any of that seriously. Because a lot of these so-called white people, they're starting to wake up to the understanding that this whole play out of the Bible that they allegedly believe in, it ends out bad for them. All right. It ends bad for them, and this isn't going to be something where we're all going to sing kumbaya and hold hands. All right, let's go to verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, that at the end every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. All right. So yes, brothers, they're going to have to be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right, brothers. So, I feel bad for a lot of you brothers who, and sisters who get, who start dealing with them and you get engaged with them and, you start to have children with them. But, hey, it is what it is. All right, brothers. So this is going to be the conclusion of the video. As always, I hope you all have a very good Sabbath. And as always, Shalom.